Dr. Jackson, they said you were ready for me?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Come in. Have a seat.
Honestly, I think I'm depressed. I just don't understand why. Everyone else seems to be doing great around me, and I've tried telling my parents about it, but they just don't understand.
It's okay to feel that way. It may not seem like it, but many people from your generation share these feelings. Here, look at this. It's research published by the National Library of Science. It was observed that in the US, the highest rates of depression belong to your age group, with over 17% of all 12 to 25-year-olds experiencing an episode of depression. That's almost a fifth of that population.
I guess it's comforting to know that I'm not alone in this feeling, but it still doesn't explain why I feel this way.
It's a complicated issue. Many experts can't agree on one true cause for the reasoning behind this surge in depression. However, blaming the smartphone has become a popular theory. Not everyone's reason is going to be the same, but truthfully speaking, most evidence brought to support this claim is shoddy at best. Take a look at these quotes from Gene Twenge, one of the most frequently cited sources for the claim of smartphones being linked to depression.
Really? Another piece of paper?
Just go with it. If teens from every background, even the less privileged, are affected by this generational wave of depression, then how can the smartphone be to blame? Less privilege implies that this group has less expendable income, which means they are less likely to own a smartphone, but are still a part of the observed growth in depression. Not only that, but Twenge rarely cited her sources for the statistics used in this assumption, meaning we effectively don't know where she got her info from, or if it's reputable.
Whoa, okay. Why are you being so harsh on her? I'm just saying, my parents didn't have smartphones growing up, like I did, and they also didn't have depression, so it just makes a little sense where the theory comes from.
I'm not attacking Twenge. Again, a lot of people use her as a source for smartphones being the issue. If her stance is built on weak evidence, then allowing that opinion to grow may not be a good thing in the long run.
Okay, well, how do you explain why I'm always on my phone? I feel like this thing never leaves my person.
It's been documented that there's almost no association of screen time creating behavioral problems within adolescents, proving that smartphones don't directly cause depression. And if you pair that with research done finding that the highest consistent variable for smartphone addiction to be a high stress level, you can explain your high attachment to your smartphone being caused by your depression, not the other way around. For a more definitive answer, in a South Korean public health report, multiple doctors of medicine formally stated that as anxiety increases, so does the people's dependency on smartphones.
Okay, but we don't live in Korea, so how does this prove your point?
South Korea has the largest ratio of smartphone owners to total population. They also experience many problems with mental health, such as suicide ideation and depression. In 2022, the number of people suffering from depression in South Korea eclipsed 1 million in total, and a majority of those people were in their 20s.
Wait, doesn't that only prove that smartphones are the issue?
There's greater issues than smartphone ownership in South Korea. We don't have time to get into everything, but it's been generally documented that South Korea is a highly competitive society. School life is stressful, it's hard to obtain a good paying job, and the housing market has become so expensive it's led many South Koreans into a mindset that they'll never be able to live comfortably. And none of this is speculation on my end, all these sentiments have been echoed in the Asian Boss video linked in the description below, along with every other source included in this video.
Video? Description? What are you talking about? Can you take my issues a little more seriously?
Sorry, that wasn't meant for you, but still, doesn't that seem pretty familiar, particularly regarding your life here in the States?
I mean, school is expensive, and it's hard to imagine myself as a homeowner. I guess it's just hard for me to imagine that I'll amount to anything.
That's exactly the mindset a highly competitive society creates. Expectations have become too high, the bar for success is ever growing, and people don't feel fairly compensated for their way of living. All of this accumulates into an overbearing, intense, suffocating pressure that results in a numbed, depressed, burnt out populace. The younger generation feels the most pressure because they feel like they have to succeed. We've seen it with the older side of Gen Z. They've already been hurting for so long that they don't know what caused them to feel that way in the first place, leading them to self-blame because they can't separate the emotion from themselves. All of this harbors the perfect storm for depressive thoughts to expand.
Oh, wow. That was a lot to take in. But aren't competitive societies good?
I don't know. What do you want from me? I told you everything that I know. Maybe they're good, maybe not. Maybe they're good for the country's overall health, and this is just a downside that affects the populace? Oh, that's all the time we have left.
Really? Well, since you never actually explained to me the steps I need to take to get better, can you at least prescribe me with some antidepressants?
That's something I can't do. You need a psychiatrist for that.
Wait, I signed up for a psychiatrist. What are you?
Um, I like to call myself a mental health benefactor, mental health coach, whatever you want.
This is unbelievable. You're not a licensed therapist. You never even solved my issue. You acted unprofessionally. And worst of all, your sources were too good for someone of your caliber. I'm gonna report you and keep you from practicing therapy ever again.
So will that be cash or card?